With GTA 6 on the horizon and coming very close, and with trailer 3 possibly coming out this month, I have decided to jump into this bandwagon and talk about all of the stuff we have seen from screenshots and the trailers, basically all just summed up into one simple video. I'm not gonna do an overanalyzation of everything. There's no real need for that. There are many YouTubers who did a way better job than me. But hey, if you fell upon this video and you want to watch it till the end, maybe I may say something that you haven't heard of before. But if you do watch it and you like what you see, give a subscribe and a like to show some support, and let's get on to this video. So, the first thing that I have done to all the trailers is to go frame by frame, and then I dug into some of the patents, the rumors, the leaks, all of it. And that's what got me into joining this talk to talk about what I'm seeing and what excites me, and honestly, what got me speculating. So here is my breakdown for where basically I think this game is headed. And right off the bat, on trailer 1, we will talk about the volumetric clouds. Now we see the volumetric cloud tech seems to be a decent evolution from what we saw in Red Dead Redemption 2, because the Red Dead Redemption 2 had kind of basic level of cloud detail, not much on the layers of clouds, because we can see here the lower stratocumulus style clouds have some volumetric depth, and the cirrocumulus clouds up there are much higher, and not gonna lie, they kind of look a little bit 2D. I don't know if it was actually 2D, but it looks kind of flat. Maybe it's because of the sun and how it's reflecting on the clouds. Here's the thing, when I noticed on trailer 2, for some reason they were gone, so I don't know. Maybe they changed a few things. But one thing, at the end of the day, it's clear that we're not gonna have the same cloud tech that was developed in Microsoft Flight Sim 2024, because I don't think Rockstar is really gonna do different levels of cloud and all of that. It's not absolutely necessary. But one thing's for sure is that on trailer 1 and trailer 2, we see a lot of beautiful ray tracing action, because not only, actually, I'm bringing it back to trailer 1 with Lucia, with the ray tracing, the reflection of her prison clothing reflecting back to her face, that is already very impressive. And then when we see on some of the new screenshots that we've got, and even on the trailers, the ray tracing on the mirrors, and it's gonna be obviously way more reflections on the actual release of the game, just like how we saw some of those reflections in the enhanced version on PC and consoles. It came out, yeah, on PC and consoles. And this type of technology, I do believe that consoles can handle it. Now, the question would be, obviously, how would the PS5 Pro, quote unquote, would handle that, if it would look sharper and whatnot. I don't know. I highly doubt there's going to be a huge change. But one thing we did notice in all of these things as we move away from the cloud tech and the ray tracing is the sheer number of NPCs. I've never seen a trailer that Rockstar Games has released that has that many NPCs in it. And I do wonder if this is real and we're not going to see a weird downgrade of NPCs where we see suddenly less NPCs. I hope Rockstar is not trying to pull off a Ubisoft. But next on would be the water physics, and that is where I have the big question, because it's one of the things that I'm most curious about. We all know that there's going to be some major innovation there, especially due to the patents that we've heard about, but the extent of it is still very unknown, as we saw hints on trailer 1 and more hints on trailer 2, even with the various screenshots. But the water, when we see it in action, kind of looks relatively basic. I wonder if there will actually be a flooding simulation, as some people have speculated, because water simulation is notoriously brutal on hardware, and there's been a lot of attempts to nail realistic water without turning your console into a jet engine, but most games don't quite deliver on the illusion. I mean, Sea of Thieves is the game that easily comes to mind. There's also the Assassin's Creed game with their water technology, but that water tech, it looks good. But if Rockstar actually cracked that on console hardware, that would be a genuinely huge achievement. There was this random game that I found out that apparently Rockstar did back in the day. Didn't know that existed from a random YouTube short video that I saw, and that's interesting. Seems like they were dabbling on that sometime in the past. I'm not saying that this is relevant information to bring it up now. I doubt it. It's a very old game. But yeah, right now what we've seen is waves and wakes from boats and some foam effects. and some foam effects that look kind of low resolution. But I do hope that they were working on something similar to what I saw with Unreal Engine 5 with this fluid tech by Imaginary Blend. And having that in this game would be insane. Now, there were dozens of false reports that the water tech alone costs around $300 million from like 24 engineers who work together. Obviously, I highly doubt that this is true, but if they manage to create a water sim that can blow fluid flux simulation out of the water, pun intended, that would be amazing, because that simulation is very solid. It's just missing some whitewater effects and certain behaviors. So the bar that Rockstar needs to clear seems high, I guess. Then again, when I boot up this demo on my PC, since my PC is quite powerful, and seems like the demo is running this at 60 FPS, although from a what looks like to be a 1080p upscaled resolution. So I don't know how GTA 6 is going to look like and what resolution this is going to run, but only time will tell. The main thing about the patent that I really didn't notice though was about like water effects on surfaces such as sweat or mud and dirt and all these other things. And we see that on the screenshots anyway. But if we look back from Red Dead Redemption 2, we can already see that they did some improvement on that water tech. And even in GTA 4 had some pretty good water. But in those games, the water felt more like a sludge than something with low viscosity. And with the part of the game when you are in Gorma, we saw some large tropical waves, but nothing really revolutionary. Then again, it is a game that was made for PS4 and Xbox One, so it's to be expected. But now when we look at the next generation, I do wonder. Now, of course, in all of this, I am curious how this is going to translate in online. And I'm talking mostly about the speculated water physics and behaviors. Something like maybe boat buoyancy, physics objects, and how damage and sinking will actually work on a boat when you got dozens of players on the water at once. I do wonder how that's going to work. Obviously, in GTA 5, we have basic boat and the yacht cannot be sunk. So I don't think there's going to be any huge change in GTA 6 because, let's be real, if it had all of that, that would demand a lot of memory from the console. On top of that, surfing is probably not happening. Anyways, we'll see what happens when the game releases on PC. Now, moving from water, let's talk about weather, because as we were thinking that if there was going to be some flooding, people were speculating if there was going to be some hurricanes. And on that note, we haven't seen a ton of weather yet, because based on just a few screenshots and what we know from Red Dead Redemption 2, of course I am hoping that the weather will have a real impact on the world. My hope is that pedestrians will actually react properly. Think like in GTA 4 with their umbrellas and how they were running around, but even better because in GTA 5 NPCs just hunch over and walk a little faster in the rain. And in Red Dead Redemption 2, sometimes they barely react, but in towns you see them remaining under shelter and not many roaming the streets. But I want to see umbrellas. I want NPCs to actually be running fast for shelter or jumping in their cars or ducking into buildings. In real life, almost nobody just stands around in a storm without covering up, especially if we're gonna have some crazy storms. Now, obviously, if it's a light shower, sure, some people can ignore that. And beyond that, I do wonder, will characters actually get wet in a convincing way, not just your character? That'd be cool. Another thing that I want to add on weather physics, I know like the time in the game world moves way faster than real life, but please, Rockstar, have smoother and more believable transitions from weather, because in Red Dead Redemption 2, when I played it on PS4, it was kind of annoying that it goes from rain to sunshine in like 2 minutes. That was weird. On PC, I had to put mods to slow down that transition to make it more realistic. Now, I don't know, these games, again, like I said, the time moves faster in those games, and the only games that I know of that do this correctly in terms of weather transition is iRacing and Gran Turismo 7. Every other game has rain disappearing too fast, or weird moments when it rains with no clouds in the sky. I won't mention Microsoft Flight Sim since that thing works in real time. Now, moving on from the weather, vehicle physics, and on the driving side, it's been said that car physics will somehow land between GTA 4 and GTA 5. Who knows? But I'm hoping for something intuitive but still fun. I want a real throttle control for drifting and some tire grip that has some looseness to it instead of the car fighting to stay glued to the road. I don't need it to be like Forza Horizon. I just don't want full like what GTA 5 was. It was fun, but it was kind of frustrating in how miserably arcadey it was. A good middle between 4 and 5 would be great. Now, as for car damage, the flipped car screenshot doesn't tell us much on its own, but I'm hoping it leans closer to GTA 4's damage model, or maybe a simplified version of Wreckfest's demolition physics. That'd be pretty cool. Now, what about the animations and the AI? Now, Rockstar's clearly been building on their Euphoria physics from Red Dead Redemption 2 and even from their traffic AI. There's been a lot of patents that we've seen that back this up. My hope is that NPC behavior is generally believable and not just scripted. And that would make things, I mean, if it's crazy believable, it would make things very weird when you decide to shoot down a bunch of people. Because I'm not gonna lie, in Red Dead Redemption 2, I rarely saw myself annihilating a whole town because the people felt kind of real. I just didn't want to do that. Imagine in GTA 6 that the people react so realistically to what you're doing. You just don't want to be a criminal anymore. That'd be wild. From animations and AI, which is, about NPCs and whatnot, let's talk about the hair physics, because that deserves their own moment. Now we know Lucia and Jason are going to have some hair physics, just like how in Red Dead Redemption 2, Arthur had some decent hair physics, although not spectacular. It's mostly the horses that had crazy hair physics. Now, in this, we see that basically everyone with long hair has physics implemented, and the movement is clearly improved. Not only that, I wonder how the game engine and consoles are going to handle that. In fact, I believe Rockstar Games will have some form of cap, where if the game notices that there's too many NPCs with long hair, it will just spawn the next one with less hair maybe. Because imagine if you had a whole crowd of people with long hair. Oh my gosh, the PS5 and the Xbox Series, whatever. No, that I don't think it's gonna be able to handle all of that. And now we're moving on to the map. Now this video is really not in any sort of particular order. It's kind of all over the place, but hey, we can discuss some more in the comments. I didn't want to drag this video on for too long. I just want to kind of like bring on my points. And if you're following along, you can voice your concerns on the comment. And remember, if you are still watching this video and you would like to support this channel, give it a like and subscribe. I love you. Let's get back to it. Real quick, I wanted to mention while I was editing is that I found this video by a YouTuber going by the name of Noah's Den, who made a one-to-one recreation of the map on Cities Skylines 2. And that video was pretty insane. So I urge you to check out this video that he did. An amazing video, and not only that, it really made me more excited about the size of the map, but at the same time it did raise some small concerns about some areas. But again, I'm pretty sure I can trust Rockstar, because although GTA 5's map was whatever, they are still doing a pretty good job in terms of map creation. And this really, wow, I mean, just watch the video, check it out. Now the map, distance-wise, we can see like Vice City from very far, and looks like we're in some shots that were even further than how it was in GTA 4 when you're at the top of Mount Chiliad looking down on Los Santos. Now everyone is saying that the map is roughly twice the size of GTA 5, but honestly, I kind of want 3 times the size. That said, I trust Rockstar here, because look at what they did with Red Dead Redemption 2. That map is not huge. Now granted, you're traveling on horseback, so you're moving at a much slower pace, but they clearly prioritized density over raw scale, and that paid off. And I'll be honest, GTA 5's map was really not that great, even when I started playing it on PS3 in comparison to Liberty City. It was a solid effort considering that they were working around, old gen consoles. But Los Santos just always felt really small compared to the real LA. And when I compare that to something like the Assassin's Creed games, especially the most recent ones where they have huge maps, it's crazy. But over there, those maps often feel very empty. Origins, I think, would be the slight exception, because in many parts that one actually felt alive to me. But my hope for GTA 6 is that regardless of the actual size of the map, although I would like it 3 times bigger, that would be crazy, I want the city to really feel like Miami, like an actual city. Now obviously there's going to be a hard limit on how many residential and commercial buildings they can pack in, but the goal should be that it should feel like a lived in city, not just a city with attractions. Well, obviously, it's not going to be like a quarter of the size of the real Miami. That'd be insane. But, anyways, moving on to the next part, and that is kind of like just the world in general that I wanted to mention. I may mention some stuff that I've mentioned before, and to begin with, that is pedestrian density, because it looks noticeably improved from Red Dead Redemption 2, which in that game it didn't have that many NPCs on screen at once. But knowing that this game is going to be CPU heavy and capped at 30 frames per second, I'm just curious, how many unique NPCs are they actually going to render simultaneoly? Is it going to be like 100, 200, 500? Apparently on the trailers, somebody counted over 100 NPCs on that beach scene. Crazy. And next up would be the wildlife, because it looks like it's getting a huge upgrade. Not only just better textures and maybe some improved behaviors, but also the density of animals. Now, the big question is whether horses will make a return from Red Dead Redemption 2, because it would feel like a waste of technology if it didn't. Next up will be world reactivity, and that is something that I'm really curious about, because it's not just the animals reacting to gunshots or crashes or other people, but small things too, like people reacting more to your clothes, or maybe wildlife showing some genuine curiosity. There's actually a shot of someone taking a picture of a cat, and that speaks to this. And on top of that, not only just your clothes, but also NPCs reacting to each other. Next up is police response, and based on the leaks and comparing to Red Dead Redemption 1 to Red Dead Redemption 2's improvements, it sounds like communication and response times are getting a serious upgrade. The real question is, what happens when you actually get busted? Do you spawn back at the police department like in the older games? Or is there actually a jail sequence like in Red Dead Redemption 2? That would be insane. As for the AI patents, honestly, they are mostly covering just pathing and nothing revolutionary about reactive AI behavior. Still, even at that baseline, it's likely leagues of what Ubisoft's been putting out since Watch Dogs 2. Now, Watch Dogs 2 was something. That's something to talk about, the world reactivity. Next up is interiors. Early on, people assumed that the entire map would be enterable, which was never realistic. The rumor is now around 700 interiors, which is still way more than I expected. But I am hoping for all the diners, the bars, and all the clubs and shops, except if you just bought the standard version, and maybe malls, banks, hotels, and maybe some staff-only areas, a proper movie theater, and please, a racetrack. I hope for all of those to be enterable, because in GTA 5 there were too many shops and too many restaurants, way too many, that were not enterable. That was kind of infuriating. I just want, if I see a diner, if it's a public space, I should be able to enter it. I don't see why not. And to finish this segment talking about the world is the detail level across textures and the world building. It looks like it's at an all-time high. It makes sense why Rockstar patented a procedural interior generation method, though I'm sure a small army of artists still had to hand finish some of these things and add the detail, because as we see for like corner stores and other places, that's a lot of interior stuff. Now, next up would be the gameplay element, and that's what I'm wondering with side missions. In Red Dead Redemption 2, we had way more creative side content than GTA 5, and my hope is that Rockstar goes even further this time, instead of falling back to generic fetch quests. There's been rumors of, I forget what's the number of side activities or whatever, but that would be insane, of all the strangers and freaks we can meet in the world. Speaking of which, in the world events, now this is just speculation, but if there's such a thing as hurricanes and floods and smaller organic moments like car crashes or drunk NPCs and funny random encounters, that would be very cool to have these things. Similar to how in Red Dead Redemption 2, we had people fleeing from the law or tending their horses. GTA 5 had the odd hiker, but I really want the world to react to itself and to work within itself, basically. On that point, there's also activities, and I wonder what we will be able to play. In Red Dead Redemption 2, there were a lot of side activities that we could do. In GTA 5, I don't remember too many except for tennis and golf and some races. But from what's confirmed so far, it seems like there's going to be pool, mini golf, hunting, fishing, drinking, possibly clubbing and parties, cage fighting, motocross, kayaking, scuba diving, maybe car tuning, like detailed car tuning, not just bringing it to a shop. Doubt it, actually, now that I think about it. What looks like basketball, and hopefully tennis and car washing. But my wish list on top of that would be casino games like poker and blackjack, obviously, full-size golf, darts, bowling, table hockey, surfing, why not? That'd be cool. High-speed boat racing, triathlon, car racing, base jumping, stunts from cars, bikes, and planes. Now, most likely those are going to be there. Arcade games, some horse racing, and betting both on cars and horse racing. And for fun, why not add some arm wrestling or slap fighting minigame? That would be a lot of activities to do, and I would love that. Now, for customization of like cartooning, like I said, I am curious if we'll get the ability to put custom decals this time around. I doubt it. Now, from that, in terms of gameplay, the last thing that I have is the economy. I hope that prices will stay grounded and payouts will actually match the cost of living in this world. There will be more on that in a second, as I want to quickly talk about the visual fidelity, because the fur coat material work is genuinely impressive on that screenshot. Same with the satin clothing. I'm curious if we'll get see-through fabrics too, because overall the texture quality across the board, clothing, weapons, even car interiors, finally looks like it can go toe-to-toe with something like Forza Gran Turismo and so on and so forth. But as I said, for the economy, I want to talk about GTA 6 Online. And this is where I have real concerns. Because after the recent heist update and the way older heist payouts got nerfed, it's pretty clear that the current economy is in bad shape. I do believe that Rockstar is probably going to charge us to go into online, which would be insane. Because if that's the case, I will probably try it once and then that's it. I'm not touching online ever again if I have to pay to get online. That's disgusting. I don't think they're going to do that. If they do, I mean, get ready to just lose half your player base in 1 second, maybe more. But definitely they're gonna really go crazy with GTA Plus and the shark cards. Now, this is pure speculation here, and this is kind of like what I wish it would go to, because I see two paths for Rockstar. One would be basically repeat or maybe even push harder on the aggressive grind heavy model from GTA Online, where something like a t-shirt can cost you as much as $30,000, which will get boring fast and then force people to buy shark cards. But especially now that they've acquired FiveM, I do wonder, are people gonna be able to do some custom economies or custom lobbies? Will that be allowed? I doubt it, because I think that everything will be funneled through GTA Plus to protect the shark card revenue. Now, if they let players build custom lobbies, that changes everything, though I'm not sure how they would manage that complexity. And I wonder if that were the case, especially with the FiveM thing, are the players that make it able to make money out of that? I don't know. But option 2 for the official online, if it's not like the FiveM stuff, would be to build a world with real immersive systems that still encourage grinding. I have no problem with that, but through a believable economy. Now, what do I mean by that? Basically, add taxes, add bill payments, add something that keeps the player engaged with missions just to maintain their lifestyle. Maybe even add a fuel system, not one where you're forced to hunt down a gas station every time, but where your car auto refills for a small emergency fee when it runs dry, and you would still have the option to stop at an actual gas station for a better price per gallon. They could also add something like clothing wear. Like this, if you buy something expensive, eventually you'll need to change it or replace it. Or maybe like if you buy a piece of clothing and you get shot multiple times, that clothing item actually gets damaged. Now, a system like that would let Rockstar price cosmetics and vehicles and customization in a way that actually reflects player wealth. Someone dropping real money on shark cards can flex the most expensive cars, watches, suits, and someone playing organically can still grow their own empire, but they'll have to keep pulling off smart moves and big scores to maintain that lifestyle once they've built it. That's the kind of online world that I would want, to be honest, where not everyone becomes a millionaire overnight, where there's a room for different play styles, from the high life to the ghetto, and everyone can still have fun in their own lane. I don't think that's going to be possible, because if we look at like how they did the updates with all the cutscenes and whatnot, I doubt it. But anyways, that was a long video, and that is my full breakdown of the tech, the world, the physics, the gameplay hopes, and my honest concerns about where the online could go. A lot of this is just speculation, sure, but it's built on the patents, the leaks, and just paying close attention to what Rockstar's shown us. Now let me know what you think in the comments, what you are most hyped for, and what got you worried. And if you like this video and you watch it till the end, remember, subscribe, like, show some support, and I will see you guys in the next one.